Aston Villa play host to West Ham on Wednesday evening, with the opportunity for them to move level on points with ourselves. Meanwhile, we travel to Birmingham looking for a victory which would keep us in contention for a Champions League position. Yes, you are hearing me correctly, a Champions League position. I mean, Matt, to be, coming off of the loss against Liverpool, but to still be in the same boat, like, top five, and even discussing this at this stage, it is pretty surreal, really, isn't it?
Well, no one expected it, did they? Let's be honest, no one thought anywhere near. I mean, start of the season, we lost to Newcastle, and everyone said we was like odds on to go down.
Yeah.
So anywhere from this point on is overachievement massively, and let's just shoot as far as we can go, see how far high we can get.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Listen, Aston Villa, doing well themselves. Give me your brief thoughts, please, mate.
I actually think they may have had the steal of the transfer window, to be honest. They picked up Morgan Sanson, 15 million for Marseille, which is ridiculously cheap. Like, I don't understand how no one else went in for this bloke. And it just adds on to their plethora of attacking talent. Like, from where they went last season, we talk about ourselves of how we went from last season to this season, but they have kicked on massively. They've now looking at like Grealish, Barkley, Sanson, Ollie Watkins, Lasana Traore? I think that's his first name.
Traore as well. Yeah.
And then like you've got McGinn, Douglas Luiz. That's like a solid front five, and the holding two. They did some serious business, and they buy the right players. Like, they've slowly turned it around, and they deserve to be where they are. And I mean, I think they've got, was it 1 or 2 games in hand on us? And if they win, then they could go up like level with Liverpool. Just below them.
No, absolutely, mate. Well, listen, without further ado, let's get talking Villa, mate. I'd like everyone to welcome back Nilesh from Villains Together. Nilesh, thank you so much for coming back on. How are you doing?
Doing good, guys. It's nice to be back. Thanks for having me back on the show. It's been a while, but it's been good to be back. It's great to be speaking about Premier League football with you guys. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And in particular, talking about the fact that, if you win the game tomorrow, you go level on points with West Ham, but both the clubs are discussing trying to move into the Champions League positions.
I know, it's crazy, and I think every Villa fan at the moment we're enjoying the season, no doubt about it. This is a really good season for us, and really enjoying it. Watching the football that we're playing is amazing. But I think we would be happy, and we'd be happy with like a top 10 finish, a top 8 finish would be great. Anything above 8 would be a bonus for us, But yeah, I mean, to be talking about a Champions League spot right now is amazing. I never thought we'd be in this position, but yeah, I'm loving it.
It's mad though, isn't it, Nilesh? Because you're in this position at the halfway point, but you kind of can't. You're in the similar boat to West Ham fans. We'd be happy with a top 10 finish, but now you are where you are, and you were then touching distance of being somewhere. Your standards have been raised. I'm assuming you are feeling as a Villa fan probably exactly the same as West Ham fans, that yes, you'll be satisfied, but will you be slightly disappointed if you start to drop down that table?
Oh, of course, there will be a bit of disappointment, definitely, because of the standard that we've set. And I think the standard we've set was from the day one when we played Liverpool that first game, and everyone was just like, wow, what an attacking team this is. So it's that. But when we did play our last game against Southampton, that was where we had to dig deep for that result. And that was where, right, we've got to be realistic here. We've got to look at these games, and we can't just turn up for the big games. We've got to turn up for every game. And yeah, we won the game against Southampton, which was great. But boy, did we have to dig deep, and boy, did we have to defend. So we weren't just attacking at that point. It was a lot defending going on, and it was difficult for Villa fans to see at that time as well, because we've seen so much attacking going on from the likes of Barkley, Grealish, and Ollie Watkins. And it was different. But we had to find out a result.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Listen, let's have a look and see what happened the last time out we met each other. Obviously, West Ham came out victors from that game last time out, but it was an interesting game in itself. But things have changed dramatically in the Premier League. Both teams are performing well, and as Matt said, I mean, talk to me about the signing, and then we'll ask Nilesh about the new signing that they've made, and why do you think he's a steal of the window?
Well, 15. The creativity he's got. He's gonna so fit perfectly in. I said that, like him, Grealish and Barkley would be frightening, realistically, for any attacking team. And you think they've also got Traore, I said, and they've got Ollie Watkins. His ability on the ball, passing, shooting, he was one of Marseille's most creative players. And because of the entire collapse of basically the French league, because they've got no money, they've picked up realistically a massive steal. And I can't believe that none of the other teams went in for him, to be honest. You think like Arsenal brought in Lingard from Real Madrid, who, yes, had a very good time, I think, Sociedad last season, but they could have had Santon, and they weren't interested. I'm just surprised no one else went in for him. As soon as I saw it, I thought he'll be a fantastic player, and you'll see it when he plays for him, how much of an impact he'll have.
Nilesh, are you as excited as what Matt sounds about him? But to be fair, also adding that creativity to what you're already got with your creativity and Grealish. Listen, I know many opposition fans are not fan of Grealish because they look at different elements of his game. They look at, the potential to dive, or the potential to go to ground easy, or easier in comparison to other teams. And I'll get slaughtered, Nilesh. I'll get slaughtered in the chat here for not just saying it as it is. But, you've got creativity there with Barkley, Grealish, and adding that, creative side. I mean, Dean Smith is working wonders for you, is he not?
Oh yeah, Dean Smith he's been great for us. He's a Villa man. He's a Villa supporter, and it makes it so much more special because he is that. And all the Villa fans are so glad that it's going well for him, and he's doing so well because of the passionate about the club. It's untrue, and the signings that Villa have made this season. The recruitment itself has been really, really good. It's been different from the last season, and the players that have come over from last season and started this season have also found their own, and they've found them in the league, which has been really good to see. And I think Dean Smith played a massive part in that as well. He's got the best out of players like Douglas Luiz and people like that. He's got the best out of them. The new signing now that comes in, I mean, it's a new signing, so everybody's always excited to see a new signing, and I can't wait to see him play. I know he's a very creative player, and I just hope he adapts to the league as well. The French league is a lot different to the Premier League, so hopefully the adaptation so long. But he's as well. He's very good technically, and there's a very, very good player in that midfield role. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And in this day and age, the market for someone of his caliber, I think, like you said, he is a steal for us. To be honest, it is a good price.
Yeah,
always love a bargain, me.
as we all do. I mean, although we have dipped into the market. We'll talk about West Ham in a minute. But from the 19 matches you've played this season, Nilesh, you've won 10, you've lost 7, you've scored 34, but you've only conceded 21 goals. So you've got the balance right for a team. 10 clean sheets this season as well. I mean, that's huge numbers at this state. I mean, only a couple of weeks ago, Matt, or even a week ago, we were saying how West Ham were on potentially par for conceding as less goals. But in the space of a couple of games, bang, we've conceded 27 goals, scoring 31 at the same time. So you've got the balance right between going forward and at the back. But what has been the special touch? What players are impressing the most at Villa?
If I'll be honest with you, and I don't think anybody would disagree with me at the moment, it's Martinez, the goalkeeper. If I'll be honest with you, I can't believe the price we got him. He is absolute quality, quality, and honestly, it's as if he's played for the club for about 3 or 4 seasons already. That's how well he looks like. He's so comfortable in the club, in the side, and it's just been brilliant. Going with that though, the added addition of Matty Cash and the improvement from Matty Target and Ezri Konsa, that has helped massively as well. Don't get me wrong. And Matty Cash, coming from the Championship, stepping up to the Premier League, he's been a massive asset to us going forward as well as defending. So I think the blend at the back has been brilliant. And obviously we've still got an international in Mings, and that his experience has helped there as well.
Yeah.
His presence has been brilliant. Been good to see. So I think. But my key, going back to your question, the key has been the goalkeeper for us. I mean, he's kept so many clean sheets this season. It's unbelievable. So
you're saying then, do you get attacked quite a lot? Is it the fact that your defence is solid and your goalkeeper is even more trustworthy? But is there ways and routes through your defence?
Oh, yeah, and I think there is, yeah, definitely, and I think there is in any side. Any side can attack any side, and any side can find gaps in the defence. But we've just been a lot more solid, and we've just been. People have, we have had people attack us, and Southampton was an example of that last week, where they did attack us, and our keeper pulled off some great saves. We did some heroic defending at times, and we had to dig deep in that, and that really showed a different character to our game, as opposed to when we played Liverpool, when we were completely attacking. But yeah, so
Matt, when you look at players like, in particular, I'll talk about Ross Barkley for a second. I know West Ham were linked to him for such a long time, but we never ever got the deal through the line. And I've always feel like there's players there. We said this the last time you were on, Nilesh, about players that we were linked to that you ended up getting over the line. I mean, Matt, you can't remotely fault and look at the creativity of what Ross Barkley does and how effective he is in the game. Is he a player that you fear when it comes to playing against Villa?
He's like a weird enigma, isn't he, Barkley? Because he's always had the ability, and everyone knows he has the ability. And he went to Chelsea, and then for some reason, it just didn't work, did it? I don't know. I don't know. He always had it, so you knew no matter where he went, the ability would shine through again. It was going to happen. It didn't matter where he went. I mean, hopefully, we might get the same thing at Lingard, but it was always going to happen for him.
Yeah,
he was one of those players that needed to get out of that club. Some players just need to get out there and go play somewhere else. I mean, he's not the only one, is he? There's a catalogue of players over the years that have been at Chelsea where they left and then their careers went back on track. And he has a little bit of an injury record, sure he does, and he was out for a little bit this season. But when he's on the pitch, the ability's there in abundance to see.
Yeah,
and it's just other teams. You see some of the videos he scored over the years, even for when he was at Everton, and it's just like people can't contain him. They don't know what he's going to do. He makes them unpredictable, and he has the quality and technique to back it up.
But there is another player though that we can talk about here, and it's Jack Grealish. Nilesh, I mean, how good has he been this season for you guys?
Do you know what? He's been amazing. But you know what? We've seen Jack Grealish for I'm a season ticket holder at Villa, so I go down all the time, and when you see him live, and I've seen him in the Championship, and when he helped us to get promoted, he was always good. He was always that good, and that's the thing. But now, obviously, he's in the Premier League, and all eyes are on him. But he's taken it by storm, and he honestly, I don't think people do not want to watch him. people always want to watch him play, and that's so positive at the moment. And he's a great player for us. Honestly, I'm really lucky to have him. We are really lucky to have him.
I mean,
He's a homegrown player, which makes it even more special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we looked at the stats the last time back in November, and they were reading really well. But when we look at them again just now, you've got Jack Grealish with 6 goals, but he's also got 9 assists so far. Then you've got Ollie Watkins with 8 goals so far this season. I mean, again, you've got a talisman up top who's got the ability to find the back of the net. Talk to me about that, and how much of a difference does it mean to have a goal scorer on your team?
No, it's great. It's great. I'm great. Ollie Watkins is back on the goal scoring trait again, because there was a couple of games where he wasn't scoring, but he was working so hard and he was contributing to the team so much. So he never really got criticised for that. But as a striker, I know that he always wants to score, and it's great to have a goal scorer. My only thing is that at the moment, and I did wish that we did get a forward in the transfer market, because we haven't really got another option. If we need to change a game, or if, God forbid, Ollie Watkins gets injured, we haven't got another option. We have got Kieran Davis, who's on the bench, but he hasn't really had the experience yet, and enough first team action, because he's been quite injured. We've got Wesley, who's on the road to recovery at the moment, so he's going to take a little bit of time. So I think it would have been nice to have another striker come in, but it is what it is at the moment. So hopefully he'll stay fit and we can play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, you know, last time out, West Ham won the game 2-1. And you know, we're battling for a top 5 position, potentially close to the Champions League. When it comes to West Ham, we've had such an interesting season. We have a very good season so far, and it was a bit of a rubbish result for us last week. And you know, we were leading up to the game, Matt, weren't we? And every now and then we were using the example of how Aston Villa took the game to Liverpool and destroyed them earlier in the season. But obviously West Ham couldn't do that, and I think Liverpool definitely learned from their lesson from that game 100%. But when it comes to West Ham, if you take into consideration the last game that we played, and from what you've seen so far, is the same player that you fear the most from West Ham, or is there someone else that you fear the most?
Sorry,
Sorry, Nilesh. Sorry.
I still feel. Sorry, mate. Sorry. I still like Antonio. I think he's a handful, and yeah, he's one that, you know, is someone that is a handful to defend against. So, and he can always cause trouble up top. So, for me, yeah, I would still go with him. But obviously now you've got Lingard as well, so he's going to want to prove a point. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. It really is. You know, with Lingard there, and you know, you've got some great players, and there's no doubt about that. And especially in defence, is quite good as well. So I do. It's going to be a difficult game, no doubt about it. I can see this game with a lot of.
Oh, we got you. We got you back, Nilesh. You're there. Yeah, we've got you back. Don't worry, mate.
Yeah.
Listen, but before we move on, I'm just going to bring up the team you put out against Southampton, and let's have a look and see what we potentially expect. Do you see many changes? I mean, I know you've got your signing Sanson in there, but you know, you're playing on a bit of form. I mean, is it a similar boat to what West Ham do? You know, why change something that's going all right?
No, I don't see any changes, to be honest, mate. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't see any changes, to be honest. I think he'll go with the same team. I think it may be too soon for Sanson to come in just yet. So I don't think that will happen. I think he'll probably come off the bench, but I don't think he'll start tomorrow. But then again, football's a funny game, and anything can happen. So. So for West Ham fans, really just expect more of what we've seen over the last couple of games. And you've mentioned there that there's maybe I don't know, the weakness maybe is through the middle of your park for West Ham to try and get through, and obviously Antonio to maybe battle his way through the defences.
Matt, when it comes to Villa, I mean, who is the man you fear the most?
It'd be obvious. It's be stupid not saying anyone but Grealish.
Mm.
Like I got slaughtered when we played Palace, and I said Zaha would fit in the team in the top six, and I say exact same thing for Grealish. And anyone that said they wouldn't have him would be lying. He walks into anyone's team.
Yeah, that's the one you're definitely fearing the most. Right, it comes to that interesting time, Nilesh. Then I can't remember. I wish I'd looked back at the video and asked you what your prediction was the last time out. And I can't remember what me or Matt said. I definitely would at that point in the season said it was going to be a high scoring game. It did finish 2-1. Where are you at this time round, Nilesh? Oh, I don't know if have we lost Nilesh?
Villa win. To
I think we've got you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Go for it, mate. What's your predictions?
I mean, last time I'm sure I went for a Villa win. I wouldn't have gone for anything less. But this time, do you know what? I see a lot of goals in this game. For some reason, I do see a lot of goals in this game. So I'm thinking it's going to be a 2-2 game. I think we'll draw 2-2 tomorrow. I do think it's going to be a draw tomorrow. It could be one of them games, but hopefully.
Right, Nilesh, I think we're kind of losing a bit of signal there, but listen,
that?
We never got the last bit there. We just got you going for a Desmond, 2 each for West Ham Villa.
I am going for a 2 each. Yeah, I said I hope I'm proved wrong, but yeah, I am going for 2 each. I just think there's going to be goals in this game. Yeah,
absolutely, Nilesh. Listen, mate, thank you so much again for coming on to the show. Happily have you back for the next time we face each other. And I was going to say, wish you all the best after the game tomorrow, of course. Right. Cheers, mate.
Lot,
take
guys.
it easy.
You guys all take care. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Absolutely, mate. Take it easy. Bye. Yeah, really cool there to have again an opposition fan on. Sorry if you're watching and there's a little bit of a lag there. Hopefully we've got it back to normal now. Matt, what do you think there? I mean, Grealish, Barkley, creativity, goals. I mean, I've spoken to you there about the amount of goals that they've got in their side. 8 from Ollie Watkins, 6 from Jack Grealish. They've got 9 assists from Jack Grealish, 4 assists from John McGinn, 2 from Matty Cash. You know, there's goals and assists in that team. We've not even spoken about Ross Barkley or the fact that they've signed someone who is extremely clever with the ball in Samson.
I'm more surprised the fact you didn't talk about sort of Douglas Luiz or John McGinn.
Yeah.
I think between the two of them, they were saying about how many clean sheets he's had, and I think the protection those who have given in front of the back four to let the creative players go and do what they want has been one of the key points for their team. Yeah. And then he mentioned Martinez, the goalkeeper. The fact that Arsenal saw, was it 16 million? I think they paid for him in the summer. 16, 18 million. Arsenal saw that money and snapped it up, and since then they've bought 2 goalkeepers because they can't fix the problem with their number 2. Yeah. When they had arguably probably the best number 2 in the league if they'd have kept him in the first place. They've made some astute signings, and hopefully we can sort of try and follow in their stead of. Maybe that's what Moyes is doing, not wasting money on players that aren't good enough or won't fit in. But hey, tomorrow is another game.
Yeah, of course it is. Listen, before we get on to the next topic and talk about our beautiful side West Ham, I just want to mention this, slightly off topic, but I think it's relevant. Today we heard the news of Captain Sir Tom Moore, who unfortunately died today from the coronavirus, and of course he's inspired the nation, raising tens of millions of pounds for the NHS, and he died today at the age of 100. So rest in peace, Sir Tom Moore. Matt, it's time to discuss West Ham, mate. This is going to be an interesting one, Matt, because each week we come on and we don't really know what's going on with the Moyes mindset. We try and predict what's going to happen, and then sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't. We expect Moyes to go out, with a winning side that he's done and maybe attack, and then he didn't. And we see every couple of games the year ago David Moyes, but then we see a run of games where it's like the new West Ham, and I think it's I can go back to Brighton, I can then go back to the Newcastle from before that, and then Liverpool as of late. How are you feeling about the game, genuinely?
Well, at least if he went back to stupid old Moyes, he got rid of it in a game that we historically tend to lose. I'd be more worried if he'd done it for the Villa game. I think it'll be the same team again. I'll be honest, I don't think there's much. I mean, maybe people talk about Fornals, he didn't have a great game. People talk about him maybe going out, but I still can't see it.
Right, yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't think Yarmolenko or Lanzini have got the legs to start a game.
Yeah. A lot of people in the comments here are saying that they would give Lanzini a run out. I mean, there you go, Richard Walton. Lanzini is our only attacking player that can drive forward with foot, feel without looking down at the ball. I've seen more comments. I'm just trying to find them just now. Johnson and Lanzini. Well, I think anyone think Lingard will start our feature. We'll come on to Lingard in a minute. But would you give him a run out? Would you change it really? I mean, do you think that the Liverpool game is enough for West Ham, David Moyes, to make changes?
Let's be honest. They were, even with their changed players, they were world class.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, they were. Yeah. As much as we want to sit there and moan that we didn't have a go and we did this and that, we never had the ball.
Yeah.
And when we did have the ball, they pressed so quick they got it back again. So. Yeah. I mean, you call it a blip. A blip on the record against the reigning champions.
Yeah. Who turned up?
Yeah, they did. I said that at the start of the game. I said we'd have to turn up. We have to hope that their injuries didn't, and they still turned up anyway. Didn't make a difference.
No, of course, mate. Of course. Listen, let's take a look at see what David Moyes said. He had a lot to say, in particular, in his press conference today. First and foremost, the thing he discussed was the transfer window, and in particular about if we were potentially looking. So he says we were looking, but we want to try and pick correctly. We had money to spend, and the owners had money to spend after we sold Seb Haller earlier in the window. So we had that, but we're trying to do things differently here at West Ham, and we're not going to follow the same paths that have been followed before. He says, I chose to keep my... I can't read that at the top there because my thing's in the way. Money, and hopefully I'll be able to start another rebuild come the summertime. I was interested looking at some of the bigger clubs as well in the period we're in, and then they've needed a centre half or a centre forward, but partly due to the pandemic and the talk about the lower league clubs needing money as well, as you have to be mindful of what you're spending. I mean, listen, I don't base my West Ham opinion on social media, but the fan base went crazy knowing that we weren't signing things, and you were starting to see things being brought back up left, right and centre. Do you really genuinely believe Moyes didn't want to sign, or there wasn't anyone out there for Moyes?
Take into context, the Football League spent no money at all, and the Premier League spent 70 million. That was it, and that's all that got spent in the January window. Like, no one spent money. I think that 15 million the Villa spent on Santon may have been the biggest transfer of the window.
Yeah.
Like, people did not spend money. I believe there was players there.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there was one that Moyes wanted.
Yeah.
And in fairness, if that's the case, then I'd actually rather back Moyes.
Yep.
Because we've had 49 strikers in this team since Golden Sullivan took over.
Yeah.
There was that. I think it was on TalkSport a couple of years back. Big Sam done that interview, and he said that Sullivan would just buy him centre forwards, and he turned up for training one season, and it was like I think he was talking about maybe Maig or Sacco, wasn't it?
Sacco,
and he pulled in the first day of training, and the guy was just standing in the car park.
Yeah.
He was like, "Who are you?" But Moyes has said no, we're not doing it. So if Moyes didn't think he'd get what he wanted for the money he wanted, and he turned down all these Tom, Dick and Harrys that Sullivan was like, "Hey, look, my agent mate said you can have him," then fair enough. I'm still annoyed because I think we need someone in because we didn't bring anyone. We let 2 players go. Well, not talking about the academy kids that went out on loan. First team players, we let Snodgrass go and Haller go, and brought in Lingard to replace Snodgrass. We didn't bring anyone to replace Haller, so we are weaker than when we started. So
and that's the best way to look at it. That truthfully is. I mean, I know this is not a transfer show. This is the preview, but that's the way I look at it, Matt. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's just annoying because I think that, like you said, we could have come out stronger and had more strength and depth rather than relying on, you know, playing more players potentially out of position and hoping that his record of turning players from a winger or a midfielder into a striker can continue. So I am a little bit disappointed because I felt like there was an opportunity there to bring someone in. I look at a player like Josh King, no matter what anyone says, £5 million to the end of the end of the season, and then, you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and he could bring his value back in no problem when he potentially scores some goals, etc. So it'll be an interesting time. But then we've got the talk about Lingard, and let's have a look and see what he is saying about Lingard. Here it is here. So Jesse's fitness levels are fine. He's a lean boy and doesn't carry any weight, so he's in good shape. More than anything, it's making sure he's match ready to play, and you only get that by playing matches. We'll have him in and around the squad tomorrow, and of course here he is in training with all the players. I think it's a no-brainer. He's going to be on the bench, Matt. But do you think we'll get to see some game time from him tomorrow? Do you think he will unleash him? Do you think he'll treat him? Do you think he'll treat him differently in comparison to the way that Benrahma and Bowen were treated, about getting kind of nurtured in from the Championship? Because he states a lot about buying players from the Championship and nurturing them into the Premier League, whereas he's got someone who's got over 200 appearances in the Premier League, Matt.
100% yes, because he was a Moyes player. You know, he was he a 20-year-old? I don't think Moyes gave his debut, but he was a 20-year-old playing first team regularly for David Moyes. So Moyes knows what he's about. And like you said, don't forget this. I'm sure he was starting in the World Cup 2 years ago for England. It's not someone that's had played the Championship, never played in the Premier League, and needs time to adjust to the pace of it. Yes, he hasn't played this year, whatever reason. Solskjaer decided not to play him, and then says he wants him back in the summer, ready to go again. Why didn't you play him in the first place? But no, I think he'd be on. You know what? As I said, I think personally, having already come in the door, I think he'd be in front of Lanzini in the pecking order. Yeah. Because of his mobility. Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Get your comments in. Let me know if you agree with what Matt is saying. We'll have a look and see what else David Moyes has been saying as well, and we'll come on to kind of like the team selection, etc. So he's talking about the form in January. We had a brilliant January. We were unbeaten up until the last day of the month, so the players have started 2021 in brilliant fashion. We came up against the champions, a team running into form, and we found it tough, but we won't be judged by our games against Liverpool. He then goes on to say it's tough when we played them at home, and this is in relation to Villa, when we played them at home, and we're probably fortunate to win it in the end. They've done incredibly well. When you think we played them at the end of last season and they needed the point to stay up, they've made great strides and have an improving team. So respectfully, you know, paying many compliments there to Aston Villa. And then lastly, he's talking about the team, and everything is okay. There are a couple of knocks and niggles which we'll look at this morning, but in general everything is okay. Antonio is okay too with his fitness. We're pleased he's come through the recent games well. So kind of happy with what Moyes has been saying in the press conference. Anything you would worry about from what he said?
I was going to say, he was complimentary of Villa, and rightly so, because don't forget, we did win that game 2-1. But that was in that spell of games when we were playing crap and still winning. Yeah. They should have. Don't forget, they missed the penalty that game. Watkins hit the crossbar, and they had that minuscule offsides to disallow them that 90th minute equaliser.
Yep.
So they could have easily won the game. We did have a good January. I mean, it was Liverpool. I'm more disappointed. I think he said as well that he didn't think we played very well. We didn't go at them. It's almost weird, because it's almost like what he said in his post-match was, but the way he said he wanted to play was like the entirely opposite of the way we did play. So it was like, did he just give the team different tactics and then just throw them under the bus after the game?
Lots of people were saying that though, weren't they? They were saying that it was a little bit like Moyes had turned up and done what he did against Manchester City a couple of a couple of last season before the lockdown by turning up and going, I'll respect you, just try and keep it respectful. That's what a lot of people felt like. Where I don't believe it. Against Man City, obviously I know he didn't turn up and do that, but he was trying to keep the scoreline down. Yeah. Whereas against Liverpool, it was just surprising to see that we just never took the game to them a little bit more. But what I will say is, Matt, to be fair, every player for Liverpool that day was firing in all cylinders. They were all turned up to the highest of their ability, to the, as if they all had a point to prove. They pressed West Ham from the off. They put pressure onto Soufal, who I thought had quite possibly one of his worst games in a West Ham shirt, because every time he got the ball, they had 2 or 3 men on him, and all he could do was hoof the ball up front, and that's all we were doing at some points, was hoof, and hoof. Get your comments in, though. Myself and Matt are going to start going through the team. I want you to kind of give me your predictions and name your starting 11. Sorry, not the predictions of the game, predictions of your starting 11. Because I think there's going to be people saying that this game deserves changes. Also, if you are naming some changes, please tell me why. And we'll go through some of the comments after myself and Matt start going through the starting 11. I mean, Matt, I'm going to bring up the West Ham side, obviously, that was put out against Liverpool, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying, is it time to give Bowen a rest on the bench? What's your thoughts, mate?
He had his rest. Well, he doesn't need a rest. He never plays 90 minutes. What's he need a rest for? He never finishes a game. And he had a rest in the cup. I can't see there being any changes in that team.
Yeah. Do you think this game needs another ball carrying player, in terms of like what Richard's saying there about Lanzini? Do you think this game needs it? Do you think that's what we're missing, or do you think we should just go, kind of treat the Liverpool game like a blip and progress forward and try and get over this blip very quickly and set up exactly what we've done like in the previous games?
I would say blip, but also, you don't want too many ball carriers in that team, because they've also got a lot of ball carriers. It's not going to be. I know people go, it's Aston Villa, and they only stayed up by a point last year. So people are saying it based on where they finished last year. For starters, we only finished about 4 or 5 points in front of them. We didn't exactly set the world alight either. Yeah. But if you look at their team now, you have to respect what they're doing and how they're playing. And if you set up, like, Fornals plays in that team because he has the defensive work ethic going backwards, right? And Benrahma's doing that from the middle as well. To be fair, he is running backwards and forwards. Lanzini won't. Lanzini will rather sit in the hole and attack. You do that against the team, like I said, if that team that Aston Villa played last game, was it Grealish, Barkley, was it Traore maybe the other one? Or Ghazi or something?
Yeah. They
will just run through you. They've got the passing quality, the technique and the ability, and the ball carriers, as we were talking about, to hurt you. So as much as you need to, we need to carry on doing our own game, treat Liverpool as a game as a blip, because we didn't turn up, and Moyes said that as much. But also, you have to give an ounce of respect to the position you're playing. Not as much as we did against Liverpool, where we just rolled over and had our bellies tickled and let them walk away for 3 points.
Yeah.
But you can't overcommit on the attack, because they will punish you.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Let's see what Garino's saying. He's saying same defence, Antonio and Bowen in a front two, diamond of Rice, Souček and Fornals, centre midfield, and Benrahma as a centre attacking midfielder. Try to shut down their midfield and go for pace up front.
I mean, it's just a variation formation with the same players.
Yeah.
Look, you could even actually drop Fornals into the middle and make it a 4-3-3 if you wanted.
Yeah.
Try and match up Villa, because Villa sort of play a 4-3-3. You could put Fornals into centre mid alongside Rice and Souček, and then just play Benrahma and Bowen either side of Antonio.
Yeah.
Again, same players, just manipulating formation.
Foshizi and Kent Hammers are saying same 11 tomorrow. Kieran James is saying Benny might be dropped for Lanzini. I mean,
a lot better players. I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't see that either. Robert Gates is saying here 4-2-3-1 4-2-3-1. Fabianski, Soufal, Dawson, Ogbonna, Creswell, Rice, Souček, Bowen, Benrahma, Fornals, and Antonio. So same 11 there.
Same 11.
H. Liddy is saying, let me see, is that the same? Has he made any changes? And then Benrahma, and then if Lingard starts, Fornals or Lanzini, then obviously Antonio at striker. So what you're saying is potentially he would actually just throw Lingard in.
Fornals.
Fornals or
don't get me
Lanzini.
Wrong. The fact that Moyes has said he's fit, and the only way to get him more match fit is to play him.
Yeah,
he could throw him in. He could turn around.
Well, listen, he might have a plan for him. I mean, this is the thing. This is the situation we're in again as West Ham fans. Is he may have a plan all along for Lingard, and we don't know. Lingard can play all over that midfield and can also play as a false nine position. But he's most effective, mate. I don't know if you've seen the stats that I read from you. His most effective position is as a left winger. His goals and shot and assists coming from that angle is just through the roof. And I'm just really intrigued to know what he's actually planning on doing with Lingard, because I think when I watched
number 10,
I think he might play him as number 10, because his pressing ability. That's the one thing I was impressed with when I watched Lingard years and in his prime for Manchester United. He's fast, he's pacey, he's quick, and he presses the back line. And I tell you something, mate, that's something we didn't do much of against Liverpool, but with a player who's at that ability and that fitness level, that's what we missed against Liverpool. So, there could be that element of going, I'm going to chuck him in and just see what happens. But I don't think he will. But I wouldn't put it past Moyes, because it is a Moyes signing, like you said, mate.
The comments he's made about his match fitness, he wouldn't put past me. And if it is, then I think it would be for Fornals.
Yeah.
He was the first one to get hauled off in the Liverpool game. And, he could very much do what Fornals is doing, where Benrahma and Fornals, swap between the centre and the left. One thing that I've always seen Lingard that I've always liked and hated is he does that thing where he drops in between the lines.
Yeah.
Because we as a club hate... it's why Dele Alli always plays well against us. I hate when Dele Alli plays for Tottenham against us. Because he does the same thing. He'll drop just in front of the defenders, behind the midfielders, to break the lines to pick up the ball.
Yeah.
And I could see Moyes bringing him in to start. That's why I said in number 10 to do exactly that. To drop in between the lines, to pick up the ball and to move into the back four.
And there's a comment here from Robert Gates. He's saying there, Kent Hammers agree when Kent is saying about starting with the same 11. That is basically the team who largely won 5 in a row. One defeat does not make not a bad side make. And it absolutely doesn't. But then what you do have is you've got a West Ham that need to be able to evolve and play potential different styles per game depending on the opposition. So I keep going back to the Crystal Palace game, because the starting lineup we put out against Crystal Palace shouldn't have been the starting lineup against Crystal Palace at home, not the away game, at home, where we drew 1 each, because we lacked that ball carrying player in Lanzini, who came on in the second half, made such a difference. And I think that's when we should have changed. So I have no problem with a bit of squad rotation, and we've got games coming left, right and centre. Matt, we were discussing it before we came on. After the Villa game, which is tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we've got Fulham on Saturday, then we've got Manchester United on the Tuesday, then we've got a little bit of a break, Sheffield United on the Monday after that, then a couple of days later Tottenham, and then so I mean there's games happening, so I think there could be a bit of squad rotation. It'll be interesting to see. Steve Rose is saying West Ham have some seriously lazy players. I don't see the lazy players this season. I don't think we do anymore.
I think we have some players that are more immobile than others, that aren't as quick, that can't run around for 90 minutes at the pace and the distance Moyes wants.
Yeah.
And I would personally bring Yarmolenko and Lanzini into that bracket, which is why I wouldn't start. But it's why I wouldn't start either of them.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a difference. The last 18 months, see a difference between Yarmolenko starting a game and Yarmolenko finishing a game.
Yeah.
It's almost like 2 different players.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, mate.
I mean, if you go back to that Liverpool game of the weekend, I'm thinking of the Yarmolenko was the first sub and he came off for 4 hours. And if you go back and watch that second goal, Yarmolenko was the guy in the box trying to trap back to catch up with Salah.
Yeah.
And you see the pace he was moving at, and I was thinking, if he'd have been playing for 60 minutes, he wouldn't be anywhere. He still didn't get there anyway.
Yeah.
But he got nowhere near him if he'd been playing for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
But Lingard coming in gives us an option, not just alongside the two of them, but it gives us the rotation options. I wouldn't say we're lazy. I think that's something we have historically in the past been known at. But it cannot be coincidence at all that we're probably now one of the fittest teams in the league, and touch wood, our injury record has absolutely plummeted. You know, we used to have like 6-7 injuries at a time all season.
Yeah,
I'm sure it might have been under Bilic, where we went like 30 something games in the season before we actually had a match day squad when every single player was available.
Yeah. Matt, I want to address this comment here from Mishley. Villa defence is very poor. I don't agree with you this season, mate. They've in 19 games they've conceded 21 goals. They've got 10 clean sheets.
I think maybe it was Nilesh said, didn't he, that they still concede opportunities.
Yeah.
But they've had Martinez, when they have conceded the opportunities, he's invariably pulled off big saves and brought them out. I suppose when you consider the fact they had Reina last season, who is 38, 39.
Yep. But I mean, they've
really
got
on his last legs.
In relation to that, then there's 78 blocked shots from Villa in comparison to West Ham's 66. So I mean, there's definitely more. But let's have a look and see what James is saying. If we play 4-2-3-1, we'll get overrun in the midfield. People are saying they need to smile, and I know why you need to smile. But this video, unfortunately, is not sponsored by our match sponsor, our video sponsor, One Football. But you never know, you might get a little treat at the end. We'll see. We'll keep you teasing. James Fever, is Lingard match fit? Moyes has said he's fit. He's not said he's been playing games, but that doesn't mean he won't play. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Neil T, 4-2-3-1, drop Fornals back alongside Rice and Souček. Fashizi is saying maybe play 4-5-1 instead of the defensive transition, 4-2-3-1 in attacking transition. The StreamYard's jumped again. We'll come on to the comments in a minute with that. Kent Hammers is saying Lingard is a terrific finisher as well, and he gains you a lot of yards with his ball kick. He does, mate. He really does. And I think he could be a proper coup for West Ham, to be honest, and kind of like an under the radar signing, maybe you think here. Ben Davis is saying, do we think Noble could start instead of Benrahma? No, mate.
God, I hope not.
No.
For everything that I love about Noble, God, I hope not.
Yeah.
If Noble plays in that midfield, you'll be playing with 10 men.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah. Let's see, loads more comments, but I think it's time for us to move on. So, yeah, Matt, are we agreeing then that we don't think there'll be any changes in the starting 11?
If there's a change, it will be possibly sneakily Fornals for Lingard, but that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be the same 11 again.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, well, it's that time of the show where I want yous to give me your predictions. Before we do, it's going to give time for Matt to think about his prediction for the game. Let's go and hear from some of the lads involved with Irons United.
Right, guys, who should we fear for Villa and who should Villa fear for us? For me, the obvious one for Villa is Jack Grealish. I'm disappointed with the way he plays football, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because he gets fouled. He tries to, win fouls in his favour and stuff like that. But he really lets himself down when he dives, which he's no doubt going to do tomorrow night. I think he's a class player. He's going to be a class player for England in years to come. It's just a shame the way he feels he has to act, but that's him, and that's his game, and he obviously plays well for Villa, so sod him, basically. But for us, I'm going to stop saying players like Souček and Antonio, because I think both the times I've said their names have been awful in the next game. Maybe awful is a bit too much, a bit harsh, but I'd like to say someone like Aaron Creswell, because I think we're going to be concentrating on more set pieces because we're away from home. That's what we've normally done in the last few away games, and he's got a good delivery on him. He didn't have his best game against Liverpool, but then no one did, and Liverpool were on another level. So in that case, I think I'm going to look out for a left field conclusion, and mine will be Creswell, just purely for the set pieces. Get a few free kicks here and there, you never know. But I'm hoping for a win, and let's bounce back and get that table again. Come on, your wines.
West Ham, Aston Villa. Hammers needing to bounce back from a disappointing result against Liverpool. From Aston Villa's side, I feel as though we should fear Jack Grealish, Ollie Watkins. They've had really good seasons. Traore as well has been looking good for them. The team as a whole has been in a bit of indifferent form. So it's definitely a game I feel like we can win. On our front, Villa should fear Mikel Antonio. Should have scored in the last game against Liverpool. Should have scored against Palace. He's due a couple of goals. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 1 or 2 at Villa Park. I'm feeling confident. I feel as though we can bounce back. I'm going to go 2-1 to the mighty Hammers. We got a point there last season. And I feel as though Moyes and the squad will be hungry to bounce back. Maybe Lingard will get a run out as well. And hopefully we can get a positive result after what was a really disappointing game against Liverpool. Come on, you Irons.
Hi guys, Jake from West Ham Unofficial. In terms of tomorrow's game against Aston Villa at Villa Park, for me, I'm confident going up. You know, we had the little blip against Liverpool at the weekend, but for me, I think we've got enough to go up there and beat them. Ben Ram with his first goal, for me, I think we've got enough to beat them. You know, I mean, they've got kind of Ollie Watkins, Jack Grealish are the only ones that I kind of really fear from Aston Villa. I think Jack Grealish, he always scores against us, doesn't he? He's a threat, and Ollie Watkins up top as well. But I think with Antonio Soucek, if we can get back to our normal playing, attacking football, I think we've got enough to beat them. For me, I'm going 2-0 West Ham with a Ben Rama goal. Will be absolutely perfect. Come on, you Irons.
Like the positivity there from young Jakey boy. Good comments coming in, and I'll come across to you in a second. This is a funny one though from Kieran. Claret and Blue will shine tomorrow, and it certainly will. It depends on the top that West Ham well, I don't think we'll be wearing Claret and Blue tomorrow anyway. But Matt, what's your predictions for tomorrow, mate?
Well, you know what? After the prediction video at the weekend, I'll let you go first.
Ah, yes! Yes! Love it! I get my choice first, and I don't have to feel like I'm copying people. I go for a 1-0 West Ham victory this week. I think that I don't think it'll be as an exciting game. I think what Moyes will try and do would be to try and nullify their threat. So I think we're going to see a top-notch performance from Soucek and Declan Rice. I think our defence is going to be on fire. And I think we will snatch a goal on what do you call it? My mind's gone. Counter-attack. I could get it. A counter-attack. And I think we will see a little bit of Lingard. And I think he might be effective when he comes on, if he does come on. But I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I normally do predict a high-scoring game. But you've got two sides here that like to solidify their defence. West Ham have got 7 clean sheets this season to Villa's 10. But yeah, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 West Ham victory. Matt?
I'm going to go for a 2-1.
Right,
I think there'll be goals. I don't want to back a draw, so I'll go for a 2-1.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, take that as long as we win. Don't care how we win, but we'll take the win. James Fever saying draw over it. I say 1-1. Moss 1000 is saying a Desmond. West Ham 2, Villa 2.
That's what I was going to say, but I don't want to say draw, so I've said 2-1.
Steve Rose saying Villa 2, West Ham 0. Hopefully not. Emma is saying 2-0 to Villa. Hopefully not. Mishley is saying 2-1 to the mighty West Ham. He stripped his wallpaper, Garino. That's from related to Luke. I think we'll get the 3-1 this time. Alright, I genuinely read that wrong, Kent. I apologise. And I literally thought Kent meant an 11-all draw, but he's meaning a 1-1 draw. Robert Gates is saying 1-1. Yeah, loads of 1-1s here. James Fever 1-1. Foshizi saying 2-1 Villa. Fully expect that, mate. A Desmond. Ian Smith 2-2. James Fever saying Claret and Blue Derby. Kieran is saying 2-0 Villa. Oh, come on, mate. Sorry, everyone. 3-1 Villa win. Oh, Neil T, what is going on? Marcus Lee, positive as always for West Ham win. 2-1 to the Cockney boys. The Cross Hammer is saying 3-1 West Ham. Ben Davis is saying Desmond, 2 each. Eamon Green 2-1. Robert Singleton 3 each. Oh, so many comments. It's too tough. Foshizi saying delighted to see young Jake. I'm betting Dawson gets the better of Grealish. Clean sheet and 2 goals for us. That's from Words and Pictures. So yeah, that brings us to the end, Matt, of our what is it, number 22 preview of the season, mate. It's been interesting, hasn't it? And they're just coming thick and fast. I think it's been 22 games in what, 4 months? I don't know.
When did we start? September?
I can't even remember, mate. It's I'm just going to flick back up here. The first game of the season, what was that? Newcastle. September, yeah. Middle of September.
Middle of September. So 4.5 months.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Plus a couple of cup games.
Plus
About
a couple of cup
games.
games. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, people are desperate, Matt. I mean, I don't know. Are you here just for this video, or do you want to hear our real opinion on West Ham? I'm only messing. We will be live tomorrow for the match day live. Matt, are you about to the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll probably be about, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, as long as you don't get worse overnight. Check this out though before we go.
One Football have teamed up with.
What was that, Still?
One Football have teamed up with.
Still, I genuinely can't hear you, mate.
One Football have teamed up with West.
Still, can you just do me a favour? Can you be a little bit louder, please?
One Football have teamed up with West Ham United in sponsoring our channel for the Matchday Live videos, our Highlights in Words review videos, and the West Ham Weekly videos. One Football is a fantastic app that you can download onto your device by clicking the link on the description below, which takes you to the Android shop or the Apple shop, but it's completely free to download. Whatever football information you want to get, just set up the simple notifications where you can receive.
So, listen, Still's not watching. Hopefully he's not watching now. He was in the background earlier on. He's not coming on. Do you want us to mess about with this video? Just put all the comments in there. I've got the original video. If you want us to do some stuff with it, then let us know, and we'll have a little mess about with it. I've got one guy in mind who might be able to play around with it, and we'll see what he can do. So get your. I think, Matt, you know who I'm talking about. People are delighted with that. Reese, Anton, you beauty. Robert Gates, cheers, gents. Stay safe, everyone. Words and pictures, laughing your head off. Oh, is that him in? Is that him? Oh, he must be watching. He must be watching. It must be him doing the chat. It's got to be. Please mess about with it. Yeah, that's good. That's so. Isn't it words and pictures, mate? You've nailed that on the head. It is so bad. It's so good. And you know, we've been getting. Listen, let us know the feedback on all the videos and all the images and stuff. There's an element of us that's going, do we want to raise the level in terms of the graphics? But then there's a part of us that's going, we like how it's just so amateurish. That's just us down to a T. So get your comments in and let us know. But also we want you to share it with your friends. We want more subscribers. We want more viewers to come over to us and give us a shot. Try us out, you know. Why not? Listen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. And make sure you leave the comments. Matt, guess what? We're just under an hour by about 30 seconds. So guess what? We're going to do it. You're Matt. I'm Anton. This is West Ham United. Get behind West Ham tomorrow. Come and join us for the Matchday Live. We'll be coming on, giving you team news, exclusive, all that sort of stuff. And we'll be doing it as well. And I'm a sweaty sock. I am a sweaty sock, mate. Thanks for that. Come on, you irons.